Well, I have a few videos for you this morning, actually. I caught up to Dr. Latessa earlier this morning when he was making his rounds and asked him if he could explain the difference between the ulcer on the palate of Lonely Lakewood that we're treating today at Brown Clinic and the entrapment of pickpocket, how they came about, what the prognosis is, what the treatment is, what the timeline is. And it went over very, very well. So I'll have those videos out to you guys today. Last night, we'll start with last night. We do have some updates. Actually, we have updates from yesterday afternoon, but I guess they'll have to wait just a minute. Blanton's Blue last night. I told everybody, you never want to be overly confident when you're racing horses, because this is horse racing. Anything can happen. And very little usually goes as planned. So I know that I trained Blanton's Blue faster than he qualified 2 weeks before. He qualified okay. Looked like he had a bit of an overland trip on a horrible track, and not his cup of tea, right? And that, listen, I would have done the same thing if I was Jason. So just the way the race played out, the qualifier played out. Now last night, my only concern with him was, where was I going to get away? You can't just blast him from the rail. He will make a break. You got to let him square that turn up and he'll trot right through it. But if you go in there guns a-blazing, I can assure you what's going to happen. And I just didn't want to make that mistake last night. I didn't think I had to. I thought, as I said, I was pretty confident that he could trot as much or more than the horses he was in with. It was just a matter of figuring out how to do that. And it worked out well. We got away in the 2-hole behind a legit horse that raced well. I didn't really look that closely at him, but that horse ended up at 9-1 or something. The horse that cut it, and looked pretty legit to me the whole way, and raced very well for Jason Thompson. We ended up getting a perfect trip, and I knew I was, as I said, as I started to come to the half, I looked and saw the horse on the front was 9-1. I was getting the very best trip I could get. I thought he was probably going to win the race, and at no point did I really feel that was a concern. Once I knew I got through those first few steps into the turn, and he trotted out of the turn well, and I was able to catch up and sit on the helmet of Jason, I was pretty confident moving forward that he would do well. What does that make his year look like? Listen, we have a ton of paths with him. Yes, he's not a Sire Stake horse. He's a Excelsior A type trotter, but we can do what we want. And remember where we're at Northfield Park. Once we get up in that nominals of 4, that's a 30 claimer with his allowance. That's $45,000. We can do whatever we want with him until he gets to stake season. So really happy with what I saw. Not just happy with what I saw, but really excited about the path forward with this guy and where it leads. Yes, I wish I was telling you, hey, we got to figure out where we're going to go until the Sire Stakes come, and I think he's gonna do rather well. I think he's going to be a very, very useful horse for us moving forward throughout the 2024 season. So happy with Blanton's Blue. This morning, get up. I had some running around to do, had some errands to do. I needed to be at the track by 9. I was there, warmed up, braced for landing. Really, we just jogged him. And then I went out maybe 45, 50 minutes before his qualifier and turned him 1.25, just to make sure I was happy with the way he was settling, the way he felt, and the way his hobbles were sitting on him. If you remember, his only fast mile of the year so far was Amy in the jog cart. So we didn't really have the hobble set for the bike yet. It's not a problem, but I didn't want to leave it to the last minute, so I went out and scored him down. I knew he was trotting good and felt really good. I was really happy with him. And then in the qualifier, keep in mind, this is a horse that I don't remember him ever really doing a whole lot on a half-mile track, ever. It certainly has never felt comfortable if we did. I know that for sure. He felt extremely comfortable today. Just kept him out of harm's way, moved him over to the front, walked him over to the half in 1 3/5, let him open up a little bit down the backstretch, and then really asked him for a little bit down the lane, and he was trotting as hard at the wire as he was anywhere in the mile. A very, very good qualifier for brace for landing. Now, of all the horses that could go to Kentucky, I've been dragging my feet a bit on this. I think Green Tea is going to go down. He's ready to qualify. We'll talk about all the qualifiers next week. We have a boatload of horses to qualify next week. Green Tea will be going to Kentucky with Eric. Now, the opening day is April the 1st for Oak Grove. Now, I don't think we'll race anything. If we do race anything on April 1st, it will just be maybe Brace, or if somebody else goes down with them. I'm just trying to figure out. We for sure have Brace for Landing and Green Tea. I'd like to send an open trotter. I'd like to send an open pacer. This isn't about sending horses to Kentucky. This is about sending the right horses to Kentucky. Now, you guys have seen what we've tried to do over the last little while is move out some of the horses that weren't as competitive and open up those avenues for horses like Blanton's Blue that was going to fit in a maiden, nominators of 2, nominators of 3. We have horses going right now that are ready to qualify that look very, very good and look poised to have a really good start to their 2024 season. And again, move out all those horses that aren't going to do, or we're not really sure if they're doing, or they might do, but maybe not. Just move them. And then it opens up a lot of avenues for a lot of horses that we do want to keep that will be very effective for the rest of the year, I believe. So in regards to Blanton's Blue, great race. In regards to Brace for Landing, fantastic qualifier. Now, yesterday, we had a ton of horses train. I'll start this portion of the video by saying Arson, Memory and Imagination, and Pickpocket for sure won't be qualifying for about a month. I was super happy to hear the timeline attributed to the minor procedures that we're doing on Lonely Lakewood and Pickpocket from Dr. Latessa. As I said, I'll post those videos same time I'm posting this one. But we have a number of horses knocking on the door, getting ready. Arson, we can drop the hammer whenever we want. There is no rush with Arson. His first start will be, I believe, in Pennsylvania around the first or second week of May, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not going to have him ready for another almost 3 weeks. We were training everybody up hard yesterday. We just trained Memory and Imagination and Arson at a 1.5 mile distance. Just stretched them out a little bit, but at the same time keep them in hand. Eric said they were both good. Blanton's Blue is ready to go. Born to Dance will qualify next week. We'll probably, knowing that there'll likely be, 4 or 5 qualifiers, and we'll have a ton of horses to qualify. Upwards of 20 horses, I think, to qualify or more. Jason Merriman, possibly Jason McGinnis. If we can get Chris to come out or Hunter to come out, that would be great. But we're going to have a ton of them. We're going to go through them all right now. Born to Dance will qualify. He trained very, very good yesterday. Happy with him. Did not know, is not there yet. Been around 218, 220 in Ontario. Dominion is training down. I don't have an update yet from Dominion. I suspect he's been around that 215 mark. Now his brother is racing tonight in Collector. If he races well, he'll be on a truck tomorrow heading to Ohio. We're going to race him in Southern Ohio in that Nominators of 4 series. That is up and coming. Don't talk about Bruno is heading to the track to start training at Mohawk next week. Dominic said he's been very happy with the way he's been training. Drebin, he'll be schooling tomorrow at Mohawk. Also, actually, no. Dominic called me. He was upset a little bit that all gas, no brakes, and cut his ankle, and he's fine. He ended up having to take a trip to the clinic, but he'll be fine and heal up nicely. I said, Dom, certainly not your fault. It happens. Not the end of the world. Just glad the horse is fine. We talked a little bit about Oakwood Cowboy. He said that he's been swimming for 2 weeks. They're going to glue the shoes on him up front and start him back. We hashed it out, him and I, about the Oakwood Cowboy situation, how the horse was training down sound. So if there was no new lameness is found, this must have been a culmination of a number of things that were kind of biting at him. We know that his feet bother him. We know he has kind of shallow bloodlines in his feet. What that means is when you're pounding those nails in, if they get a little close, it can cause inflammation. Now, if you already have feet that bother to begin with and factor in inflammation in one foot in particular, it can cause some acute looking lameness. Now, the good takeaway is that there was nothing found under ultrasound or x-ray that would explain Oakwood Cowboy coming up lame. So when you connect the dots and put everything in order, it just looks to me like 2 weeks in the pool, glue those shoes on, and away you go. We're at the stage where the shoes are going to be glued on, and he's moving forward. So Dominic was worried about them, and he said there's no racing next week at Mohawk, which I didn't know also. Somebody had told me the other day it just didn't register. So he said there's no qualifiers. I knew what he was getting at. I said, Dom, just put Drebin and Militant raced last year. Now, Drebin only had a start, maybe had 2 at the most, but Militant raced plenty of times. Just put them in to qualify. James is going to protect them anyway. So that is the plan. Neither have hobbles right now, and Dominic was happy with the way both of them are training. They're going to qualify. Drebin and Militant are going to qualify tomorrow. So we're at Drebin right now. Electric Line, we're going to race. I was so surprised. They never going to bid the other day. all those 2-year-old trotters, which are kind of taboo this time of year to be bidding on, got bids. And your electric line, who literally is ready to drop in the box, never got a bid. I was a little surprised. So he's going to race this week. Flash Fly trained great. Very happy with her 2-4 last half, 58 and a bit. Mounds, Tactical Mounds was the one that run her down. So certainly no slouch and no shame in that. Flash Fly will qualify next week. Now, we're going to have to figure out how many are exactly qualifying, whether I'm going to take some to the Meadows on Tuesday and qualify the rest here, or just qualify them all at Northfield. We'll figure that out over the next day or so. But I'm going to go through the list with you right now. Flashfly is qualifying. George of the Jungle is beginning to train at Mohawk this week, so probably a couple of weeks away. Great Bet also is training at Mohawk this week. So he's, again, a couple, 3 weeks away. Green Tea will be qualifying next Wednesday and heading directly to Kentucky with Eric and Kathy. And actually, there's no reason why Eric can't qualify some of the horses. I believe he has a license still, and he goes with Green Tea anyway. Gypsy Hill is he's the only one a little bit behind. He was sick this week, so he didn't get to train. We made those shoeing adjustments, and I still am just quietly, maybe 15% of my head toying with the idea, because he does get around a bigger track better, of potentially sending him to Mohawk. I want to gauge where he'd fit and what he has to do. And quite frankly, he's going to race for as much at Mohawk and probably race a softer company than he would going to the Hackett. We already have Sweeney and Irresistible Sun slated to go there. Knowing where we're at with Gypsy, I am quietly toying with the idea of potentially sending him over to Harry. Harry's going to lose Collector. He already lost Locatelli. So moving a horse over there, and there's other horses too. That is in no way, shape, or form a done deal. That's barely written, very lightly in pencil at this point. Hallie in the Clouds is going to get another week off as they miss next week. But as I said to Dom, I wouldn't worry about it, Dominic. There's a long summer ahead, and Hallie raced 3 weeks in a row. There's no point in racing her that, maybe 4 weeks in a row. There's no racing. There's no need to race her last week, so she gets a week or two. That's fine. I'm Fancy Like will qualify next week also. She trained very well the other day. Insider trading, I was floored by how well she trained by herself. She wasn't in a group, and that was just because I was going faster with her than anybody else. She trained exceptionally well. 2-2 last half and 59. At that point, it was almost a full-on blizzard and blowing snow. And for her to train like that by herself at the start of her 3-year-old season, getting ready for it, is a pretty big mile. For those out there that train horses, training a trotting filly by herself that kind of mile on the front end of her season, it's not an easy thing to do. She looked exceptionally good yesterday training. Irresistible Sun looks good, but I want to give him another 2-3 weeks. We're aiming for the Hackett, but I don't think he's going to be ready much before that. Now, he trained a mile 2-4 yesterday. I think he's a little underweight, and I think we just need to stretch him out a little bit more. As I said to Lauren, who's doing a good job getting the weight on him, just needs a little bit of weight and a little more work, and I think we're really going to see him polish up nicely like he did last year. He's one of those horses. White Tiger was like that. As soon as he got the first cold draft in the fall, he just turned into a panda bear. Just turned into a panda bear right away. There, I'll call you back. He just turned into a panda bear where he just, hair everywhere. And then when this first ray of hot sun hit them in the spring, it all starts falling out. And I think in the next 3 weeks, I think Irresistible Sun's going to look exceptionally good. J-Port Beach Boy is training down. Somebody asked me last night where he's at. I think he's been around 218, 220, if I'm not mistaken. He's 3 weeks away, probably 4 weeks away. J-Port is up in the J's. Lonely Lakewood, as I said in the video you're going to see, has an ulcer on his palate. That's going to get trimmed up at Dr. Brown's clinic tomorrow. He's been in 2-4. He's ready to go probably in the next couple of weeks. Mel Gibbswan showed a little blood yesterday, which isn't shocking. We had him on Lasix his last 2 starts. I didn't have to put any of the other horses on Lasix right now. So a minor concern, maybe. But the fact that he was a little stressed out and he was making breaks leads me to believe that his feet were bothering him a little bit. We need to work on those. I actually put the hobbles on him and trained yesterday. The first time he's ever had hobbles, but trained very, very good. He was with the Pacers. We did come half in 58. So nothing about yesterday's training was shocking other than the fact that we put the hobbles on him. But I'm always going to lean hobbles. You have trouble with your gait and you're making breaks, we can help you. Memory and Imagination, the horse just looks amazing. He is number 1 right now. Now, Pickpocket trained great, and he's going to get that entrapment fixed. All that being said, I can't put him on the top of the list when I have a horse that is training exceptionally good also, that isn't going to a clinic, that has nothing wrong, and that has looked great. Memory and Imagination has looked exceptionally good training down so far, and I've been very, very happy with the way he's gone. Eric was happy with him yesterday. Big hopes for Memory and Imagination in 2024. Militant, Dominic said his training down good. No hobbles, no nothing. We'll see how he looks tomorrow in a qualifier. You know that James is going to duck him way last and just race him for a quarter of a mile or an eighth of a mile or 10 feet or whatever James does. But we'll get to see him anyway. Mounts for All will be qualifying next week. I really like this colt, and I think very, very highly of him. Paycheck Princess is qualifying for the second time tomorrow, so you'll get to see her qualify also. Where she goes after that will be up to her. Does she go to the Meadows, she go to Northfield, or she stay and race at Mohawk? That will be up to James, Dominic, and Paycheck Princess tomorrow. Pickpocket trained great the other day. I was very, very encouraged by the way he trained, because the break when he had no hobbles on, and then a little rough when I trained him 5 days later. Yeah, I was a tiny bit disheartened, if I'm being completely honest. But I could see that the horse was in there. It was just how are we going to get there? And we did the other day, as I said, took all the weight off him, and he trained very, very good. Now just going to fix that entrapment today. Prince Charmer is ready to go. He'll qualify next week also. Pull the Shoes is racing right now. I'm going to go race her today. I can't wait for that. I know this filly's going to come forward, I think, in a pretty good way, and I just can't wait to see it. Purple People Eater, I'm going to train. She's the only one left. She's going to train in the race bike on Wednesday, so you likely won't see her qualify next Wednesday. We'll have her slated to go the following Wednesday. And again, this is all, now the weather's, it's not Wednesday, by the way. I apologize. It is Thursday they qualify. Qualified today. They're now on Thursdays. So, Saturday back Thursday is possible if she qualifies, if she trains great. She has made a few little breaks. I know exactly how to fix her. And if she comes back as well, just like Sedona did, we'll talk about her in a minute. If she comes forward in a big way Saturday, it's not about speed, but if she does her work well and looks good, you may see her Thursday, but more than likely you'll see her the following Thursday. Ready for Landing is back jogging now. He'll be ready in a little bit. I had a great talk with one of our clients the other day, Ted and Tom, about the horse, and both of them were asking, listen, where are we at with him? What are we doing? Are we on schedule for May 12th? Well, no. I mean, we're never on schedule for May 12th. I'm not sending him to the race in the Sire Stakes against Carl if he's not going to be ready to trot. Now, I don't need Ready for Landing to go in 53 or 54, but I would like to see him trot 55. At least give me a feeling that he belongs in New Jersey on May the 12th. And otherwise, he'll just stay at Mohawk and race until he gets to that point. If he never does, fine. He's just going to be an overnight horse, which is fine. He is a useful horse. How useful? That remains to be seen. Really don't care. Has been to Mohawk. She might be schooling tomorrow. I don't know yet. If she's not schooling tomorrow, she'll be schooling next Friday, I'm sure. That's the plan with Harry. Sedona Hill, much better yesterday training. Actually won the training set and beat Mounts for All, which I was surprised she did. She looked very, very good. Call these people back too. Of course, everybody's calling. So Sedona Hill, much better. We'll qualify her next Wednesday. Sunset Acres Girl, we won't be qualifying her next Wednesday. Just getting her ready for June. She's just jogging right now, looking to get back in the swing of things. Sweeney will qualify next Wednesday. He was okay yesterday with Amy. It's hard. Amy said he was good. That's what we'll take it as. I know I've seen him. The horses look great. There's a couple of these horses too. The weather's supposed to be nice next Thursday, but if they have to be sharp, feeling good, eating all their feed, no temperatures, things of that nature. And I'm sure one or two of these horses are going to end up missing a week of qualifying because of that. But as of right now, these horses are all green lights. Time Is on My Side is training down. Tim says, when do you want him ready? I said, just have him ready for the first leg of that series. He said, you want to prep him? I said, I'm not of the belief he's going undefeated all year. I'm not that worried about Time Is on My Side. We've already raced him 3 times. He's been ready in January. We're getting him ready now. The longer we take to get him ready, the longer he'll be able to race for in 2024. So no rush with him. Just have him ready to race in that first leg of the stake series. The one coming up. Somebody asked me, why don't we go to the Bobby Weiss? No, we're not going to the Bobby Weiss. He can stay right here and race in the race the Terry Altmaier, he can stay right here and race in the Race of the Meadows. I'm not shipping all over the place already. It's a long season, and it's not like there's a huge difference in what they go for. So hopefully stay here and get it all at the Meadows rather than chasing people in the Poconos. Vaquero Blue Chip will qualify, I assume, tomorrow. He schooled last week. Now, Victory Blue Chip at a splint crowd, and Harry loves Victory Blue Chip. I think he's going to not qualify this week in school, if I'm not mistaken, which would mean he won't qualify next week with no qualifiers. We'll see. There's no giant rush with either one of these horses. They're both ready to go now. Watch Your Mouth is not. He's just been around the 225, 230 range, so he'll be ready in about a month, 3 weeks. Widespread Panic has started to go to Mohawk now, so he'll be training in 2.8 or 2.10 this week. Go next Saturday to train again 2.5, I assume. School the week after that, or the week after that. He'll be ready soon enough. And Winter Bells, I haven't got an update on her, but she did come in when everybody else did, so I suspect she's close to going to Mohawk and training right now. So there's a midweek update. Well, it's not midweek, it's Thursday. Just past midweek update of all the sophomores. We have a ton qualifying next week in North America. Many of them are ready to go right now, some of them a little bit longer, and as I said, the three that are just going to take the littlest bit longer are the ones that I just want ready to go in May: Arson, Pickpocket, In Memory, and Imagination. So with that, I'm going to let you go now. You are completely updated as I head to the Meadows. Completely updated. Brace for Landing, great qualifier. Great training miles yesterday from the sophomores. Blanton's blew a winner last night. Again, right tool for the right job. Very happy with the way things look as we head into sophomore season.